Hello, welcome to Plane Time. I am not Ben Coleman. I'm sitting in for Ben today. My name is Joel Hargis, and I'll be your host today for Plane Time. We're having a great day here talking about aircraft maintenance and the importance of it. And this is an FAA Fast Team Wings Credit opportunity. We will have a code for that at the end of the show, so make sure you stay tuned to the end and get that. I'm here with my guest today, Laura Spolar. And Laura is an aircraft mechanic, and she has done that for 30 years.
A little over.
Works for United, in case you missed our first segment. We kind of deep dove that in a big way. And but I know in this second show, Laura, you want to talk about something that's near and dear to your heart.
Yes.
Tell us.
Just to get the word out and get more young women involved in aircraft maintenance. Actually, young men also, but young women need to know that this career is available to them.
Well, and I think you're certainly a glaring example of what can be achieved because, again, for people that missed the first show, Laura is a supervisor at United. I apologize. And she's a supervisor. And
correct.
It's funny, you just gave me a statistic that kind of blew my mind. So like when you started, you said there were how many mechanics out there?
In 2003, here in Orlando, we had approximately 100 mechanics.
All right. And 2022.
We have over 600.
600 mechanics, folks.
Just in Orlando.
Now, here's the data that blew me away. How many, she made me guess, how many of the 600 were ladies? And I guessed 6.
Yes.
And I was high.
Yes.
There's only
4.
4 ladies out of 600. Come on, ladies.
Exactly.
I mean, these jobs pay well. They've got killer benefits. I mean, you get the flight benefits, you get all the United employee benefits, and 4 out of 600. Mm-hmm. And then I ask you the next question. So it's not like physical hard work. I mean, you have the proper tools to do the job, and I mean, you don't need to be McGilla Gorilla to do this job, right? So ladies, you can do this.
Yes.
I mean, I think it's a tremendous opportunity to work for an airline, right?
It is.
And, you know, what I like about it, or I would like about it, is like whether you're a pilot or a first officer or a flight attendant, right? You got to fly around, you got crazy hours. You're away from home all the time. You don't have that.
I mean, you might have crazy hours, you might work graveyard shift, but I mean, at least you're home.
Exactly. You're in your bed at home every day. And to me, that's a big, big benefit.
It is.
I know a lot of friends that are commercial pilots, and they, the travel just wears them down. Being away from their family.
Yeah.
That's really what people don't get. And same way with flight attendants.
Yes.
They're doing that, and they get stuck on the other side of the country. And so as a maintenance person, you don't have any of that.
No, you can do what you love and stay at home.
I can understand it's a 24-hour shift.
It is.
I mean, probably 3 shifts and
yes, we're
24/7.
Yes,
but I would say more heavily staffed during the day. There's more flights during the day. Or do you do your maintenance at night?
Actually, we're more staffed at night on the line primarily because those are the aircraft that come in.
I got you. That makes sense now that I think about it. So again, I know it's near and dear to your heart to promote this, and so if I'm, coming out of high school, and male or female, and obviously we want to promote it to females because there's such a huge opportunity for them to be a part of this. So what would be the next step?
Well, primarily we would like to get into schools, work with guidance counselors. I belong to an organization called Women in Aviation International. I'm actually the president of the Central Florida chapter.
Cool.
So one of the events that we do every year is Girls in Aviation Day. This year it will be September 24th. But throughout the year, we work with local schools, trying to put the word out. I think a lot of the reasons that young women don't go into this career field is they don't know about it.
Oh, fair enough, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's our job.
Most schools don't offer airplane maintenance 101,
No.
Now,
they
there
don't.
are a few that do, and obviously, the Aerospace Academy at Lakeland, and actually, aviation's being taught in more high schools around Florida.
Yes.
So, but it's still a very small number. How well are you received by the schools? I would think they would be happy to have you come in and talk. Although
Very
I've tried
well.
to do that a few times myself, and some yes, some no.
Well, since COVID, we haven't really been able to get into the schools too much. But anytime we've had interactions with the young girls, and one thing about our organization is we expose them to many different options within aviation, not just maintenance, because I have to be fair to others, but pilots, engineering, we have air traffic controllers, we've had airport managers. So, I mean, there's quite a bit out there for aviation. And so we just try to expose them to that. Obviously, aircraft maintenance is my favorite part of it, considering like 2.5% of all certified A&P technicians are women. So
2.5%.
2.5%. So
That means 97.5%.
So ladies and gentlemen, we need to get to double digits here pretty quick. And I think now is a good opportunity for kids to go into that because there's a need. There's a need for pilots, but when you introduce new aircraft into a system, those aircraft have to be maintained. So we're the ones that do that.
Well, and I think that's pertinent because,
Yes.
I mean, the last thing you want to do is go to a school, get an A&P,
Yeah.
get certified, if you will, and there'll be no job.
Yes.
That's not a problem now.
No, not at all.
I hear them advertised on the radio. A&P schools they're trying to recruit
Yes.
because there's jobs on the other side. I mean,
Yes.
Lots of jobs.
And I mean, that wasn't the case 10, 15 years ago. Now, that's the case. My feeling is not everybody can do the 4-year degree.
All right.
I think we need to focus more on technical skills. I mean, if you're a mechanic, you're hands-on, and that's how we work. We're better at doing than possibly reading about it, and I think there's a lot of kids out there, we're missing out on them because we make them feel maybe they're not going to have a rewarding career if they don't go to college for 4 years.
Yeah.
That's just not the case anymore.
No, I think that there's a shift in that whole thing to
Yes.
the technical school is okay.
Yes.
It's certainly needed, and some of the technical people make more money, quite a bit more money, have a better career and lifestyle than folks with a 4-year degree.
Yes.
And not bashing it.
No.
Please don't start sending calls and letters. But no, and I think, gosh, I mean, you can just, you've been with United 30 years.
20 years.
Oh, 20. Oh, you've been in the industry.
Yes.
30 years.
Yes, I was with another airline for
Right.
20 years.
So, I mean, that's a career for crying out loud.
It
you
is.
know, and it's served you well.
It has. I've been very fortunate.
So let's talk about a little bit of the perks. So, do you get a fly for free on United?
I do.
You and your husband?
Yeah.
How many times a year can you do that?
You know what? We don't travel all that often because stop and think about it. Flight benefits are wonderful, but you have to have the time off.
Oh, yeah, you got to take
And
time
we
off.
have kids in school. You can't take them out of school to travel and all that. So, but yes, we've been very fortunate. We've gotten to travel a lot, and we look forward to traveling more in the future.
And I'm trying to, I want to hear this from you because I want kids out there thinking about this, anybody out there thinking about this. The flight benefits are amazing. I mean, you can be like, I went on this flight, I want to go to Paris,
Yes.
I want to go to Tokyo, and it cost nothing, zero, nothing.
Just a lot of patience.
Now, do you get a fly first class when you do that?
Not necessarily.
Okay, well,
So we're space available. So if there's space, then
get up there.
we can get up there. Don't see much first class anymore, but
yeah,
it's still an awesome benefit. And
Oh.
I think
for sure.
working for an airline, obviously that's all I've known because that's the career I've been in most of my life. You have endless opportunities. I mean, you see people working on the ramp. They've been there 20, 30 years.
Mm-hmm.
So when you get with an airline, you normally stay and you can progress.
And so that's it just spurred a question. So let's talk about retirement benefits. Do you get a pension from United? Do they contribute to your 401k matching? How does that work? Because we're talking careers here.
Yeah.
Let's get down into the nitty gritty.
But I think a lot of times, and that will probably change, but a lot of that you're going to have to manage yourself with your 401k. But you do have an option of a retirement.
Okay. Well, I would think you would.
Yes.
I mean, because it's good money. You put some back, and over time, 30
Yeah.
years or so, you retire,
Yeah.
right? So I understand you have a daughter,
I do.
and the apple didn't fall too far from the tree there.
No, it did not.
So
Just a little higher.
tell us what she wanted to do. I think you said since she was young.
Yes, when she was young.
Tell us that story. That's a great story, Laura.
So I'm always bragging on her, so if she watches this, she might get a little upset. But anyways, obviously being around aviation her whole life, from about the time she was 9, she wanted to be an aerospace engineer and she wanted to go to Embry-Riddle. So that's exactly what she did. And she is now a aerospace engineer with a component group with United, and now she works in the landing gear shop.
I gotta, I love that. She told me this at the break. And so her daughter is 24 years old.
Yes,
And she's a senior
engineer.
aerospace engineer for United Airlines.
Yes.
All right? Senior engineer, 24. And didn't she say like half her hair is
Red.
and half her hair is
Black.
And people walk into her office and say, I'm looking for the engineer. And this is so funny. Like, that's me, and she said she looks like she's 16,
Yeah.
right? And so, golly, ladies, I mean, come on. I mean, if you could be a senior engineer at 24 years old and these full-grown adult older men come in,
Yeah.
because they need your advice. They can't, I mean, the engineer is like, when something gets sideways, the engineer's ones goes, no, you do it like this and this
Yeah.
and this and this, and signs off on it. And if they don't do it like that, she don't sign off on it, and that plane don't fly. and so my point is, it's a very important
It is.
job.
It is.
And I'm sure it pays well. And here she is at 24 years old, a senior engineer.
Yeah.
How cool is that, folks? I just love that story.
So when she comes to our Girls in Aviation Day, and obviously she's been doing it for many, many years. So when the young girls from high school and middle school, when they see her, I think people need to see themselves.
Right. Oh,
So
for
they
sure.
see her and see, you know what? Wow, I really like math and I'm good at math and all the
could do
things
that.
that I am not, I could be an engineer as well. So I think when the young girls see themselves, that makes them more apt to want to pursue an aviation career.
You know what? I would love to interview her.
I don't know. She's pretty reserved. She doesn't realize.
You were that way before I got
I
you
know.
out here.
I know. She's
This isn't hard.
she doesn't realize how awesome she is, and that what she does in the example. Because you always want to be the example. You want to, like I said, you want people to see themselves in you. I know
sure.
women who are older that have gone to A&P school. I think that's great. You don't have to do it at 18 years old. You can do it at 30 years old. You can go, I mean, it's up to you. You can go whenever you want. And my sentiment is I just want women to know this is an option for them. And you don't have to be 18. I am far from 18.
So that group that you're a part of, the Women's Council, and I don't know if we can put that back up
Oh, the
again.
Women in Aviation?
Yeah, Women
Yes.
in Aviation. And so, yeah, we've got that logo up there for you now, Laura. And so how do you get involved? I mean, what a great place to start for young ladies. How do you get involved with that? A website?
Actually, Women in Aviation International is an international group.
Okay.
So our chapter is just a local Central Florida chapter. So we belong to the international. So you can go to wai.org for more information. For us, you can go to wai-cfl.org and find out more information on our organization.
All right, let's do that again. WAI.org
Correct.
is for the big
The
one.
international, correct.
And the local one is WAI-CFL.org.
Correct.
All right, so hopefully
So check us
you guys
out.
get that, because that would be a good place for you to, young ladies,
Yes.
to get around people like Laura here, right? And because I can tell you, if I want to head that path, I would want to be on this woman's coattails. That's what I would want to do. Because,
would gladly take
you're
you.
so inspirational, and you're just an example. And so you don't think your daughter would come and talk to us?
I don't know.
Well, maybe she'll see the show and go, I can hang out with
She'll
him
be
for a
like, I
few
can't
minutes."
believe Mom said that, but yeah.
So I learned another thing there, that there is actually aircraft maintenance technician, that's a thing, AMT.
Yes.
FAA is full of acronyms. AMT, there's actually an AMT day.
Yes, there is.
And it's not like it's a federal holiday, but it's a day where aircraft maintenance technicians are recognized.
Yes.
Can you tell us a little bit about that? I never knew that existed.
So AMT Day is actually on the day of Charles Taylor's birthday. That's
All
when
right.
we celebrate.
So for those who don't know, Charles Taylor is you tell us.
So Charles Taylor was the first aircraft mechanic. He built the engine for the Wright Flyer.
Wow.
So in our industry, not only do we celebrate Charles Taylor for obvious reasons, but one of the biggest awards that you can receive as an aircraft maintenance technician is the Charles Taylor Award. So you have to have 50 years of service for that award.
And you
So-
can't have any I don't know if discrepancies is the right word. But
Yeah, you can't have
You got to
any-
have a
yes.
clean slate. You
have
can't-
to have a clean record,
Yeah,
correct?
right.
Yes. So that
Because-
is an honor that not too many people receive.
Well, I've seen a couple of those awarded.
Yes.
One of our friends and sponsors, Bob Jex, who works here at the Orlando FSDO.
Okay.
I know he can help facilitate someone getting that award, that Charles Taylor Award. And it's basically, 50 years of clean service, and that's a little bit of paperwork. I know I've sponsored, so that on the pilot side, it's the Wright Brothers Award.
Oh, okay.
Very similar, 50 years, never been written up by the FAA, that kind
Okay.
of thing. Clean record.
Okay.
And so, you can do that. Again, I'll just throw that out there. Bob Jex at the Orlando FSDO can do that. But if you're not in Florida or around the country or in another city, contact your local FSDO, contact their flight safety team, and you can help somebody get a Charles Taylor Award or a Wright Brothers Award. And I'm pretty sure our producer has a Wright Brothers Award right here in the studio.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah,
Wow.
he's a big deal. He really is. So AMT Day, do you guys just get the day off and pop champagne?
No, we wish. No, usually the company's very good about, United's very good about celebrating their technicians. So normally, like locally, they'll have lunch for us, and then every year, for the last few years, they get us a special gift of, sometimes it's a flashlight or some tools, something that we can use in our day-to-day job. So they do recognize us and they do appreciate us.
So Well,
which is nice.
I'm glad you got, get that kind of recognition
Yeah.
because you guys are kind of behind the scenes and
Yeah.
really don't. It's like I think we joked on the other show. You don't really get the recognition, but you don't also deal with all those passengers and all their nonsense, right? Which has gotten completely out of hand.
We don't need the recognition. That's not our goal.
That's not what you're in it
No,
for, is it?
no.
Yeah, I knew that because it was all we could do to get her up here today. She was not real excited about doing this, but I think Obie twisted your arm a little bit.
He did.
But I'm so glad that we did. Let me ask you another question.
Sure.
Because we have a lot of EAA affiliates
Yes.
that are watching today.
Yes.
And like in my own, I'm a member of 534 out of Leesburg, Florida.
Okay.
And one thing that we have a youth group there.
Yes.
And they do a good job of, we've got 4 or 5 projects going on. I mean, different, some experimental. We're rebuilding a Cessna 150 right now. And actually we've got some girls in that. Our last Ray Aviation Scholar was a lady.
Oh, awesome.
But she works on airplanes in a hangar almost every Saturday, which is when
Yeah.
that youth group meets. Would you consider coming out and being a guest, a speaker, maybe hanging out in the hangar with them and talking to them?
Absolutely.
I mean,
Yeah.
I think, so John and Paul, if you're out there watching, I've got Laura's contact information and I think she would be great. And also for any other group like that. I know there's a lot of them. Kevin Lacey's actually a friend of mine. And
Yeah, I know him.
do you know Kevin?
Yeah.
He runs a Tango 31, I think it is, 31. But he has an amazing youth group out there.
Okay.
And but that's out in Texas.
And
which
I've
is
done some work with the local EAA chapter with Barbara Phillips.
Barb Phillips. Yep, she's.
Yes,
I'm
so-
actually supposed to do my Teaching Youth Aviation series with Barb, and we've just never been able to connect the dots. But yeah, she runs a tremendous program
Yes.
there. I know Barb and her husband quite well, but and so for younger kids, that's a great place to start, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And so I would encourage any of you to, EAA.org, is that what it is? I think EAA.
I think it is. Yeah.
They're telling me in my ear that is correct, EAA.org. You can go there, you can find a local EAA chapter. I know a lot of our kids are actually homeschooled kids.
Yes.
And they, they bring them out to experience all kinds of different things, and many of them stay. And so I would just encourage, as we're trying to promote kids
Yes.
to do this, right? Your local EAA chapter is a great place to start. Ours and I think most of them, there's no charge to participate.
Yeah, it's free, yeah.
You get supervision. We teach them how to pop rivets and just do all kinds of things,
Yeah.
right? Build ribs. I think we've got an old wooden, what is that? It's they'll be yelling at me because I can't remember what it was. So anyway, it's just a great place to start. I think there's one up in Umatilla, Florida. Obviously, Lakeland. That's the gold standard down there. But yeah, I think for you folks watching, if you're she lives here in the Orlando area.
Correct.
She'll come and see you.
Because normally, like if people reach out to our chapter, I'll refer them to EAA, especially if they're interested in flight, especially with the Young Eagles program. That's a great program for those who want to go into flight. It's kind of a good experience to do that.
I've been Young Eagles coordinator, 8 or 10 years over there. I still perform as chief pilot from time to time for them, and kind of done my time trying to turn it over. But I still fly Young Eagles. I could tell you some amazing, rewarding stories.
Yes.
About flying kids.
We have the same.
Yep. Life.
I think anytime you can expose youth to anything in aviation, we're going to benefit by it.
Well, and in talking to you before we came on the air today, I know you're passionate about it.
Yes.
And it's people like you that help people like them get to where you are.
Yes.
And so, good for
Try
you.
to.
No,
Thank you.
good for you. I'm just, and like I say, the proof's in the pudding with your daughter.
Yeah. But I have quite a few young ladies that have gone on to aviation careers, and it's really rewarding. They'll keep in contact with you and let you know, hey,
Yep.
it's because of you
Right.
I ended up going to college. And, that's important.
Just
That you
curious.
can influence somebody in a positive way like that.
Believe me, I do a lot of mentoring myself, and it is so rewarding.
It is.
So rewarding. And I'll throw that out there for anybody out there in your EAA chapters. I mean, be the one that helps the kids.
Yep.
Be the one that sits and talks to them. Help them get what they want. And I mean, I've helped people get in the Air Force. I've helped people get into flying for, like a net jets kind of thing, right? And it's so rewarding.
It is.
I can't tell you how many weddings I've been to these young people that I don't really know them real well, but yet when it comes time to have that big moment in their life, I get an invitation.
That's
because I
nice.
made a big difference in their life. And so I'm sure you've experienced that. And so for everybody out there, help these kids. Help them. Aviation needs the people. We need the pilots. We need the mechanics.
Yes.
ATC's hiring right now. I mean, they've been publishing that. And that's not a bad gig either.
Probably pretty stressful, but
No, I don't know.
as with anything, you have to be the change that you want to see.
Say
If
that
you-
again. I like that.
If I want to see aircraft maintenance technician females in double digits, you have to be that change. So I have to be the change that I want to see.
Folks, that's great advice right there. That's very, very profound. And so as we're down here to like the last 60 seconds. What do you want to end with? It's your show.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to get the word out there. And I hope that some young women will see this and say, you know what? That's what I want to do. I want to work for United. I want to be a mechanic. So yeah, let's hope that some will do that.
Well, we've certainly been up through all the benefits, and I want to thank you for being
Thank you.
here. I want to thank all of our audience and people turning in, particularly our affiliates. And I am Joel Hargis with the Florida Aviation Network here doing Plane Time. Wait for the code, as we're gonna, if you want wings credit for this, it's coming on the screen. Get your pen and pencil ready and write this down. Again, I'm Joel Hargis. Plane Time.